Start the goddamn show.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast that reviews the movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 500 and I don't know, because we're pre-recording, so I don't have the number on top here. I just have simply
5:30, 5:30 something, probably.
527, I think. 520.
Yeah.
And this is your review of Alex Garland's Men. Yes, Kylie, I know you are probably in the chat wondering what's going on. We are
Hi, Kylie.
here talking to you in the future, but you're seeing this in the present.
Hi, Stacy.
Yeah. AKA, this was pre-recorded.
Hi, possibly Aiden.
This was pre-recorded. But as always, it is the Nerd Chiconic here, the host of the show, alongside my wonderful co-host, Brad. What's up?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a wonderful Wednesday, or tomorrow for you, Thursday.
It's always interesting when we do the pre-records because it reminds us of a time when we used to actually pre-record.
That's all we did.
Yeah.
We would just run through it. Like, what show do you want to do? All of them. Speaking of that, when are you bringing back the Impaired Files?
The more you ask, the more it's going to get delayed, Brad.
I don't care. I'm going to keep asking until you fucking do it.
I don't know, man. I've got a lot of shit that I already do. Too much. I think I like the way that I work right now. But yeah, man, we're re-recording this. I completely forgot that I actually, had a screening. I have a screening tomorrow. Today. God, I hate pre-recording because it's like past, present, future tense.
Future, present, present, future me.
Yeah. I have a screening today for Houston Cinema Arts Festival, so I'm going to be out late. So when I come back, it's probably going to be 10 o'clock my time, so Brad's not going to want to do shit. He's going to be like, I'm in bed.
I'm fucking asleep.
Yeah. But
it'll be 9 o'clock my time. I'd be like, fucking sleep.
Yeah, and then today I thought that I wouldn't been able to do this because I had a shoot to do, but the shoot got canceled. So we ended up lining up perfectly because Brad had a day. He gave himself the day off. So we're here to pre-record and we're here to talk to you all right now. So Brad, other than having a day off, what's up? How's your day been? What you do today?
It was good. We took the puppy to the vet. Got a few shots they needed. He doubled in size, so that's always interesting to hear when he goes 18 pounds last time we took him to the vet, and now he's 32 pounds, and you're like, huh, all right, he's going to be a big boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, Daryl was pretty big in the beginning, right? Like, what's it called?
120 pounds.
Yeah.
But Daryl was also fat.
Yeah, Daryl didn't do shit,
No, and I think Daryl was older than we gave him credit for, but, Daryl was fat.
Yeah, like my dad, when he brought Maya, he said, like, she's a puppy. She got to be, like, almost a year old. And I was like, you see this dog? Like, this ain't a puppy. This isn't a baby. She's got to be, like, a year. Actually, a year old. Yeah. She ain't months old. She's a year old.
No, so Dill is 3 months old. So, and he's 32 pounds. So he keeps going like this. He'll be bigger than my other two dogs. My other two dogs are around 60 pounds. He'll be up there in no time.
Yeah. Damn, bro, that's crazy.
He's eating 5 cups of food a day.
Bro, nah, man.
Yeah. I'm going dog poor. Going puppy poor.
Even Maya just eats 2 scoops a day.
Yeah, and my other dogs eat 2 cups. So they eat one cup in the morning, 1 cup in the evening, and he gets 2.5 cups. It's just
how?
I don't come up. Be like, you're like a little barrel, little cask of dog.
Well, yeah. Well, my day went pretty well. Well, pretty okay. What's called? I was like, last night I edited, but I had to finish some like had to work with some files. So I was like, oh crap, I can only do this at the school because they have compressor on the work computer. So I was like, fuck it, I'll take the files I need and compress them down. And then like I wasn't able to actually edit there because of some stupid error with Premiere. So I ended up coming back here when I was done work, and yeah, it was a pretty okay day at work. Just nothing crazy, but yeah, just hanging out here. Tomorrow's gonna be what's it called tomorrow as I'm recording to this. I'm ready for the screening. It's gonna be fun. I get to watch the inspection from A24, so see what's up with that.
Another A24 film.
Yep, yep. Um,
Shout out to A24. They're doing good shit. They've been doing good shit for the past quite a few years.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but I decided,
I wanted to ask you something first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I saw that that Ted Cruz party foul in Houston where he did not catch the beer. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, bro. I know how to catch. You know how to catch beers, Ted.
Also, I don't know what's with Texas and Arizona, but we're like stupid blood brothers or something. Like, we're going down with the ship.
It's
Everyone else kind of has a clue, and we're just like, yeah, we want to be weird.
Shit's funny, man. Shit's crazy.
Politics.
Crazy,
Politics
funny, wild. I don't know, man. The world's going into flames. We're all just on this highway to make sure that our country does not go under a fucking black hole of
enough of the depression shit though. We're here to entertain, have fun. This is
talk about a depressing.
Well, this is pre-recorded, so this is a perfect time to talk any of the shit we want because we won't be here for fucking no.
Yeah. Life is unbearable, but at least we have cinema. And my
beer.
friends, I decided, let's talk about men. Now looking through the new releases.
Okay, which men do you want to talk about? Chris Hemsworth, Gerard Butler.
Now we're gonna talk about Rory Kinnear. What's it called? We're gonna talk about men because I said like, oh, we got some new releases, and I was like, oh, let's just talk about this one.
This was an interesting one, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, like if we would have kept in the schedule, like this would have been during October, so it would have made sense to talk about this one because of spooky months. But right now, we're just catching up here. I'm trying to have Brad watch as many new releases, so that way in December when he submits his nominations, it's not just
one fucking thing. It's like Pinocchio, no.
Yeah, like we've watched a good amount of 2022 releases that Brad is able to fill out at least 10 slots for Best Picture this year.
Yes, I can do something.
Yeah. So, Brad, let's go ahead and get this going because let's not delay the inevitable here.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about men.
It's raining men.
Start it so I can comment on that. Let's start it. Just start the spoiler.
All right. So if you have not seen Men, and I'm not talking about males or men in general, I'm talking about the theatrical film Men from Alex Garland, released in this year of 2022, then you want to get out of here if you care about spoilers. But if you don't care about spoilers, or you have already seen Men 2022 directed by Alex Garland in this year, go ahead and stay for the review. Either way, how any of that goes, this is your one and only spoiler for Men 2022 directed by Alex Garland. And it is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was so unprepared for Men, Brad, that I had to make sure I have to write down a little banner here right now.
Yeah, we need a banner. We need a banner right now because we talking spoilers here.
We're trying a lot about Men, bro.
Yeah, come on, put it up there.
There we go. Banner's up, y'all. So, Brad, let's go ahead and introduce the film from our one and only source, Wikipedia.
But before we go there, I want to mention the It's Raining Men thing. That's exactly what I thought of the song when you told me we're watching Men, and I'm like, it's raining men. And then that opening fucking scene, and I'm like, is this a movie actually about is raining men?
It's raining men. Hallelujah.
That's all I wanted to say. I'm just like, because I that's exactly like the opening of this. I'm like, Is this a movie actually about it raining men?
Men is a 2022 British folk horror film written and directed by Alex Garland. If you do not know who Alex Garland is, he is the director of Ex Machina, Annihilation. He wrote films such as 28 Days Later. And there was this one that my friend told me about that she really
You can
liked.
see it in this. It's very British.
The Beach. Yeah, The Beach, which he also wrote the original novel for. It stars Jessie Buckley, who you might all remember her from films like I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Very nice.
And yeah. As a widowed woman who travels on holiday to a countryside village but becomes disturbed and tormented by strange men in the village, all portrayed by Rory Kinnear. The film was released in the United States on May 20th, 2022 by A24, and in the United Kingdom on June 1st, 2022 by Entertainment Film Distributions. It received generally positive reviews for its performances, though its narrative approach received some criticism. So, starring what's called Jesse Buckley, Rory Kinnear, Papa Esadu, Gail Rankin, Sarah Twowney, Sonoya Mizuno. Cinematography is done by Rob Hardy, who has also done the last films by Garland. Edited by Jake Roberts, not Jake the Snake Roberts. Music is done
Damn.
by Ben Salisbury, not the steak. Jeff Barrow, and it sits at an hour and 40 minutes. We do not have a budget on Wikipedia, but it has made $11.1 million.
Which this is technically a horror film. So my guess is between 1 to 5 million was spent on this. If I had to guess. That's just my guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna obviously check IMDb here, Brad. But
But as a horror film, as we've come to know this of like horror films don't need to make a lot of money in order to be a box office hit. They only need to make 5 to 10 million and then they're good. This is made 11.1. I figure they're probably pretty good.
yeah. No budget on IMDb, so I wonder how much it costs, man. Um, yeah. Well, Brad, I believe I did write a review about this on the website, so I'm gonna go ahead and defer to you so I can get your initial thoughts here. But Brad, what are your initial thoughts on Men?
Can I say that I know there's a reason this is situated in Great Britain, because had this shit happened in the United States, specifically where me and Raul are at, this movie would have never happened. This movie would have ended on the first fucking scene. We would have got the gat. That would have been it. So, we grabbing steak knives up in here and like axes and shit. Fuck that. But there's a reason this took, presence in Great Britain. But cinematography wise, really cool. Like really good looking movie. The story is quite out there in some places. I get what they're trying to do. It's a woman who's trying to, maybe we should do a trigger alert for this because we are talking about suicide. We are talking about,
movie's been out for a while. I think you all know exactly what this movie's about. So, I always say, I'm not gonna really put them out there here, but like I always tell you all, if you are interested in a film and you feel like the subject matter might not be suited for you, I implore you all, instead of making people put stuff like that on these content warnings and stuff, just research the film. It's okay to spoil yourself maybe and find out what's in the film, so that way you can know whether you'll be able to handle this film. But this film's been out for a while. You all know that it includes some very serious topics, so proceed with caution.
Okay. So that's out of the way now. I will say that this movie is a bit confusing in that the beginning, the middle, and the end don't all match up for me. Like the beginning is a whole different story for me when it's a woman and her husband. She says she wants a divorce. And then he goes into I'm going to kill myself if you divorce me. And it's like it's one of those things. And to the ladies out there, and to whoever's like married or in a relationship, and if someone says that to you, that they're going to kill themselves if they leave you, don't put that on you. That's abuse. That's mental abuse right there. So just for your recollection, if they try that, that's mental abuse. And if you don't feel safe there, leave. You're making the right decision in that regard. Also, there's physical abuse at that film. And then he goes and he jumps off where we were talking about. We thought it was Raining Men because that's literally the first scene is you see him outside a window falling. And he ends up dying. And then, we go into she has to get away from that after that, of course. She goes in the countryside for a week-long kind of, I guess, vacation to figure stuff out. And shit just goes haywire. And it's like we're in two different movies from there. We start off in like what I think is a really like dramatic kind of, hardcore situation. And then we go into a weird, almost Cronenberg body horror film.
I
So
think I
it,
know
it
what you're
doesn't
alluding to.
it doesn't like match up all the way for me for this film throughout of it. But
Yeah.
to say that this is a bad film, it's not a bad film. It's a good film. It didn't necessarily do it for me. I think some of the story is a little light. I think they could have done more with that. And yeah,
Mm.
I think it was a fun watch, but it doesn't hit all the marks for me.
So, I love Ex Machina. I think Ex Machina is one of the, best sci-fi films of the last decade. And I recently, this year, finally watched his follow-up film, Annihilation, which I knew a lot of people felt like, oh, Annihilation's not good and like this and that, but I finally decided to watch it for myself and make up my own opinion on the film, like everybody should, right? And I really, really liked Annihilation. I know nowhere near the love that I have for Ex Machina. It needed a little more of Oscar Isaac dancing and saying, "Watch as I tear up this fucking dance floor." But it didn't have that, so it's nowhere near going to be Ex Machina levels, right? But I loved Annihilation. I mean, what's it called? I really liked Annihilation. So I was like, okay, man, what's it called? I hadn't seen Devs yet, his television series, but I was like, Garland has a really distinct style to himself.
And he wrote 28 Days Later
Yeah.
also. So
He also
which
has
you kind of see some of that in this.
yeah, and he also has like a very distinct way that he kind of goes of like digesting his themes in his movies and kind of getting you there. So I was like, let's see how this movie does. And I'm gonna tell you, Brad, that I sat in that seat, I watched this film, and I was being beaten over the head with its message over and over and over to the point that I was like, I get it. I know what you're saying.
Well,
Could you like, and it's like I was just
it,
like I wish
it
that the
comes to the
film
point.
executed itself a little better.
Yeah, you're right because when you come to the end of the film and you have the moments where people are like being birthed or her trauma is being birthed and killed or dying,
Yeah.
like this is all a film of her trying to like get over that drama. It's done in a very horrific kind of fashion, but that's what it is. And after the third or fourth time, you're going, I know her ex is going to be birthed here. That's going to be the end point. Like I don't need to see the other fucking three or four of them.
Yeah, and like like I said, I get it. I know like what you're trying to say, but you've had almost an hour and 10 minutes before this where you kept reiterating it. Now I wish that maybe the execution would have been better where I was be able to sit through that and like I get it. Like you want to show this repetitive process of like generational trauma of men being birthed to be, shitty people to their partners, and it's like I get it, I know, but I just saw this like an hour and 10 minutes later when you had like three different Rory Kinnears coming out on the screen and all pretty much being the same asshole.
Yeah. I mean, you had Kid Asshole, you had Naked Guy in the Forest, whatever the fuck that was, asshole. You had fucking priest asshole. Priest was really an asshole. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
And it's like, Brad, I I like a lot of things about this movie. First of all, I would like to get this right out the gate. Jessie Buckley is amazing in this
Oh
film.
yes.
She gives us a
I
beautiful
think I
performance.
think most of the actors in this are pretty good.
Yeah, the cinematography, as always, Garland, what's it called, what the guy who what's it called does this with? I cannot remember his name again. I just read it right. Rob Hardy has a beautiful eye for like nature, and he always finds a way to like frame these shots beautifully. And I like that a lot about this movie.
Oh, there like we were talking about earlier, that scene where she's outside and the dude basically just fucking stole her car,
Yeah.
and it's just that framing of just the sky, just all the stars and stuff. I noticed that. I'm just like, wow. I'm like I would put that on my wall.
Yeah. But throughout this film, I was like, I like this, but I like this, but this is easily the weakest of his three films that he's made now. And I also thought like this is nowhere near as being effective as something like a, I don't know, Midsummer, other films that we've seen like I don't know, I can't name it at the top of my head, but like for everything that it's trying to do in its execution, it's nowhere near as effective as it thinks it should be.
I mean, we've seen like darker stories with better messages. The Witch comes to mind,
Oh yeah,
or Vivitch, whatever you want
the
to call it.
Vits, the
Vivitch, uh,
Vivits.
the Vivitch. Um, you know, we've seen stories like this that are really realistic, dark undertones. The Lighthouse, another one. We've seen stories like this before that, the stories are much tighter. I think had he taken time and maybe tightened this a little bit more and kind of got what he really wanted to say and not do the same thing for 20 minutes,
Yeah, and I
you
actually
know.
found out, Brad, that he had written the screenplay with kind of like backwards. He started with his ending, and then he went from there. And it's like I understand why the script kind of feels a little weak now. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's funny because like the beginning it gets me really hooked and just like, okay, so we're having this real, dramatic trauma relationship happening, and then it kind of loses me in the middle. It's just because, okay, she went to an Airbnb. This dude's weird, but he's British, so sure, weird British dude, that's normal. Again, but then I gotta put out there. So when I was waiting to watch this movie, I watched Top Gear before this, so I just had those three fucks in my head. I'm like, when are they going to take the car out and do something? But anyways, uh, so the middle for me is just like, okay, like we're getting to it, and then yeah, you get to this weirdness of these same actors in different forms, and it gets kind of weird there. And then the ending, yeah, the ending's pretty strong ending. Like, don't get me
yeah.
wrong. Like I get why they did it. I don't think they had to do it so many times. The birthing thing, I think they could have done it like 3 times, and we would have got the fucking message
Like I said, Brad, I think we got the message like an hour
before
and 10
that.
minutes
Yeah,
before that. Like
yeah.
I don't know, and like I said, I just kind of kept waiting for this film to like finally, because it's crazy how like um a film that you think is like an hour and 40 minutes, right? And like I was like, okay, we should at least have some sort of even pacing here. The film drags like hell, and then once it gets to the third act, it rushes itself to that
Oh yeah.
fucking ending. Like,
Oh yeah.
and I was just like, oh, like, okay, now that we're in like the most effective part, correct? I feel like we should stick some time here, right, before we end this. And it's like, nope, we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna well, real quick.
Well, and then they just like end it, and it ends with her, and you know what's going to happen. She's going to take an axe to her dead ex zombified, just birthed fucking thing, and that's going to be her overcoming her trauma in that respect. But they kind of cut it off, and they don't like it leaves it kind of open ended. And it's just like, I know what's going to happen. Why didn't they just fucking show that?
Yeah, and like I said, I what's it called? I don't hate this film. I don't, because I think it's a very
I just
well made film. I think
it's just
that
there's been others that have been made like this that are just overall better.
yeah. And it's just like overall, like I think that there just was a lot of work that could have been done to like make this better. Uh, like one of the things is definitely cutting down that time a little bit. Like not even a little bit, Brad. I'm not even gonna lie, Brad. This is where like an hour to 25 to 30 minutes would have been easier on this movie. Like,
Yeah, I think you get around that. I can agree with that, which is weird because usually hour 40 minutes to me is like perfect. Like we've said it in previous episodes, Cronenberg time. I
yeah,
love me some Cronenberg time, but this, you're right. It's just the overall message is hit over again and again and again, and it's like
yeah,
we got it after the second time.
yeah,
Like we understand. You don't have to like reiterate.
yeah. So, I like I said, it's not. I like this movie. It's nowhere near being the top of my list so far. Before I give my final verdict, I will tell you all where this lands in my on my list. So I currently have it at number 37. It is above The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and it is below Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. So it's okay. It's not anything great. It's not amazing, but there's just stuff on top of this placing where it just was way more effective. Like hell, I even have Crimes of the Future above this. It's like I was like, and I thought that movie dragged
And
like
that movie
hell.
was
Yeah,
slow.
but I think that movie is a lot more effective in discussing what it's saying than this one.
Huh,
Yeah.
I agree.
But Brad, before I mean, let's go before I give it because I already had my score up on the website. What is your score for? What's your final verdict for Men?
I'm going to give Men a 6.75 out of 10.
Ooh, all right. Not terrible, not the best, but it's not
No,
terrible.
I mean I think it's better than Mid. Do I think it's like when I go back, we think of the same films that that are kind of in this genre, The Lighthouse, The Witch, and
The
it doesn't live
Vivitch,
up to those.
yeah. So at first, when I first watched this film, I did give it a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna go ahead and just like now that it's able to sit with me, I'm gonna agree with Brad. I'm gonna give this a 6.5 out of 10. Um, like it's just not as effective as it thinks it is, and yeah, it's pretty much one of those films where it's like you get it, 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 you get it.
Yeah, I
Yep.
got it. I
Yes, I
got it.
got, bro. I got it.
I
I
got
got
it.
it. Yeah, I did, man. I did. But yeah, man. Like I said, they all can be winners, bro. But it's
No,
all good. Because
and
at least
it's one of those things. It's like I don't want to leave a bad taste in people's mouth.
no.
Watch it for yourself. See if you like it. Some people might like it more than
I
us
have a
because
friend, Brad, who thinks this is amazing and it's one of his best
which
work. And I
and
respect it. You
yeah,
know?
that's people's opinions. This is just our two dumbasses' opinions, which have been so far really clicking on a lot of things,
Yeah.
which has
Hey, we'll
been
see,
really
Brad.
weird this year.
Next week we got Clerks 3, Brad, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
What the fuck is-
Hey, Brad, I have heard things about Clerks 3. So I
Good or
can actually,
bad
yeah,
or both?
a little bit of both, Brad.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That's a Kevin Smith movie though. You're gonna hear good and bad shit about a
Mm.
Kevin Smith
I
movie.
do. It's wild because we've talked Clerks 1, but we never talked Clerks 2. But, what's it called? We'll get to 2.
Clerks 2 is pretty fucking funny too.
I'm
Honestly,
going to watch
I don't
2
know if it's
before
up there
we.
with Clerks 1, but
Yeah. All right, man. Well, that's been our review of Men. And we thank you all for tuning in. Whoever's in the chat at the time that we're live on the air.
hi
Thank you all
Kylie,
so
bye
much.
Kylie.
Thank you so much for being in the chat. And of course, we want to thank our wonderful Patreon supporters who make this possible. Without you all, the network does not stay afloat. So thank you all so much. If you wish to join the Patreon, all you need to do is go to patreon.com/thenerdcore, CORPS. Or if you're on YouTube, it's on the little scroller that is down below right here, ticking on the bottom. So go and check that out. Of course, we have a lot of wonderful exclusives, wonderful exclusives, and other tiers that you can get. What's it called? Access to. Some of them are our wonderful producers and writers. So, uh, uh, ah, thank you to our executive producer Shane. Where can they find him, Brad?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at ThriftedIO, or go buy something from the Suppy God at Prison City Vintage in Illinois.
Yep. And of course, thank you to our writer, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Follow him on Twitter at Real Nerdy Dad.
Speaking of Tony, you need to follow me on my new old TikTok account, Tony. Fucking add me.
And Kylie.
Hi, Kylie. I mean,
Kylie.
tomorrow. Future Kylie.
Still, hi, Kylie.
Yeah, still, it's future Kylie.
Yeah. You can follow Kylie on Twitter at KyliePLI and on Instagram at KyliePSports90. And of course, if you are interested in becoming a executive producer or a writer, make sure you go to patreon.com/nerdcore and pledge to either the $15 or $25 tier. So with that said, we are getting out of here, y'all. We will see you all next week as we continue on with our Ingmar Bergman month as we talk about The Magician. And then on Thursday, we'll see you all for our review of Clerks 3.
Watch where I pull a rabbit out.
Yep. Without further ado, Brad, let's get him out of here. And yeah, go on, Brad.
All right, Raul. Thank you for being host as always. Thank to all those who join us in chat tomorrow today, because it's pre-recorded. Thank to all our listeners out there, all our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, I'm just gonna say, British people are weird. British people are weird. At least in this movie.
Well, treat your girl right.
Yeah. Don't be an abusive.
Treat your girl right.
Dick.
Either when she went like a pomegranate. No.
What?
No. I was trying to make
either like a pomegranate? Is that what you're trying to say?
Get out of here, bro.
Young Yoda out. Eat her like a pomegranate.
How good if it tastes